Hey, Russell Hotels going live just for a couple minutes. You guys know how I do it. Today is Friday, November 14th. Hope you guys are doing well. This is the daily check-in with Russell of Hotels. I do this every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So guess what? This is the last day of the week that I'm doing this. So, you guys get a reprieve until Monday, until I start all over again. But anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Once again, this is the daily check-in with Russell of Hotels. I do this. I already said that. I do it Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but I also do a show called On Air with Russell of Hotels that comes every Tuesday. So you got 5 days a week of me. I like the sound of that. So you have 5 days a week of me, but that one comes on Tuesday at 1 p.m. PST. So I'm on the West Coast. If you're on the East Coast, that means that's 4 o'clock. Okay. So just in case you didn't know that there's a time difference. So what do I talk about? I mean, little this, little that, things that are hospitality related. Well, 100% of the things I talk about are hospitality related. A lot of it has to do, well, most of it has to do with my own experiences within the hospitality industry, hotels and meetings and hotel site selection and all that kind of stuff, right? So if you don't know what I do or how I do it, just go back to the archives of the replays of my daily check-ins or On Air with Russell of Hotels, and it kind of gives you an idea of some of the subject matter that I discuss. And we are the chat room is open. Okay, so the chat room's open, so feel free to make comments, say, hey, what's going on? And I'll see if I can put your comments on the screen in real time so the whole world can see, so I can share it with the world. But these things don't have to be that long. I tend to make them long, typically about 15, 20 minutes, but sometimes they go about 30 minutes with this daily check-in. So just depends on the subject matter. Okay. Normally I have a topic, and I will never, ever do one of these shows, this show, the daily check-in, or On Air with Russell of Hotels, without showcasing a hotel. In fact, it's the same hotel I showcased yesterday. So I didn't really feel like changing it up today. So I said, you know what? Let's give it 2 days of the same one I did yesterday. Okay. So there you go. So, and then like I said, I'll get into the topic that I have. Let's see. And what is the topic? The topic, you know what? Okay. The topic is going to be good. I mean, I like the topic, but some people may not. Some people may not be able to relate to it. But well, a lot of people will, but some people won't. But I'll explain it as we go along. Okay. So, but before I get to the topic, and before I get to the hotel that I'm going to showcase today, I get a call. Well, I actually followed up with one of my clients today, right? So I followed up with a client that happened to have a group in New York. Okay, they were at the Intercontinental New York, the one in Manhattan. Okay, so they're there for they're there 2 times. They're there for a pre-cruise and a post-cruise. Okay, they went to Bermuda, or no, they went to Halifax. They went to Halifax. Okay, so they did the trip there, but they stayed 1 day on the before the cruise and 2 days after the cruise was over, right? So and I called to follow up, because I normally do that. After my client has gone to a hotel, come and gone, I called to follow up, and she said everything was wonderful. The hotel was great. They're so professional. The service was great. The food was good. She said, all the stuff that you want to hear as a hotel site selection person, right? Because a lot of times we put our names on the line, right? We put our companies on the line to thinking that this is going to work out, and we want to make sure it does work out, and a lot of times it does, but every now and then it doesn't work out, right? But no, this client was so happy, and she was like, oh my God, I was going to call you. I'm so glad you called me, because I wanted to tell you about the hotel you chose for us, and it was great, and blah blah blah. And well, that leads to something else, right? That leads to another group that they want me to do, right? So I have now, based on that, just from that one experience. I mean, she's used me. My client has used me probably. This is probably like the 6th, 7th group that I've done for her, right? So, but none of them. I mean, all of them went well, but I mean, she was like over the top, over the moon on this one, right? This was great. And this is a larger group too, so it's probably 100 people or so, right? So, so no, it was good. So it's always good to hear that. It's always good to hear that your client enjoyed the hotel. And then, of course, I contacted my contact, spoke to my contact at the Intercon in in New York, Manhattan, and told them that, thank you so much for taking care of my client and the group. And they were just over the moon about the service and everything. And I think one person, because I only had, you have as a hotel sale, I mean, as a hotel site selection person or a meeting planner, you typically have one or maybe two contacts. You have the sales, initially you have the sales contact, and then it gets turned over to like a convention service, conference service person or whatever who handles everything else. And so those are only two people that I knew. But I wanted to thank everybody. I mean, can you thank everybody for me? Because the client is just, she just can't stop talking about how good the service was and how great the hotel was and how it looked and the location was great. And oh my God, it was just everything was just fell into place, that's what we want to hear. And so my contact started giving me other people, like, putting them on the email chain so they can read the responses that I was sending back and forth to my contact, right? So it was funny how it started off with maybe two people. I'm thanking the two people for doing what they did, and then it ended up maybe damn near 10 people on the email chain because he kept these people are in charge of this. These people, because I want to thank everybody. I just didn't want to just thank the salespeople or my convention services person because they can only do so much. You know what I mean? It takes other people to execute the entire, for the entire stay. So I mean, the rooms and the meeting and all that, transportation, all those kind of things. I wanted to make sure they knew how much I, appreciate the work, the professionalism, and the hospitality they gave my group. I wanted to make sure they know that, and I'm going to follow that up with a card to the general manager as well, because I think it's important, especially when the client is like that excited and she's never been this damn happy and excited before. So I'm like, damn, they really must have did something right. Okay, so anyway, so that was that, but that's going to lead what I'm going to say, or what I just presented to you just now. It's going to lead to the topic, but it's probably not what you're going to think, right? It's not what you're going to think. But anyway, so let me show you the hotel real quick. It's the Miraval. Remember I mentioned Miraval yesterday. I showed it yesterday. Well, I'll show it to you again today because, it's all about, sometimes you got to repeat stuff, right? You got to be repetitive so people get the message like, oh, okay, Miraval. Okay. Now I understand. Now I remember, right? Because everybody does not know about the Miraval, and everybody that's watching today, maybe they didn't see yesterday. Okay. So maybe I should just do 2 days of, showing these hotels. Let's see. Let's just see. We'll try it. So once again, you'll see the photo and the video, but you won't see me, but you'll still hear my voice. Okay. So Miraval Resort and Spa in Tucson, Arizona. Okay, so 143 guest rooms, 1,700 square feet of meeting space. Now, not for your group, I mean, a typical size, or what am I trying to say? It's not for a huge meeting, 100 or less, up to 100 people. Okay, so it's ideal for that. Like I said yesterday, for a board meeting, maybe you have a board meeting about 35, 40 people, and this would be perfect for them. You got grounds to walk. You can just be. You got that Zen-like feature. You got water, wind. Oh my God. What else do you need, right? What else do you need? That's the entrance right here. So you walk out of your vehicle or the car that had picked you up. You walk through those double doors right there past the fountain, and then you get a warm reception when you walk in. Oh, it's going to be spectacular when you go. You're going to be calling me like, oh my God, thank you so much for referring that hotel or showcasing it on that daily check-in, because I had no idea about that hotel. I didn't know what the Miraval Resort and Spa in Tucson, Arizona was. So I'm so glad that you spoke about it, and you spoke so highly about it. And I do, because like I said, I spent some time, and that was my room right there. Okay. So this outside, I think I had a drink out here on this veranda. Okay. So I had a drink and was just being and just watching. I wasn't reading, but I was just kind of just taking it all in. And I'm sure you'll do the same thing. And your groups would love that too. And you got rooms, and these are the newer rooms. These are like on the other side of the of the resort, but very nice, just very nice. Very nice. And this is the spa. This is the entrance to the spa. So if you kept going to your right, you would walk right into the spa. So I just couldn't walk by this Instagrammable moment. This is one of those places where you want to take a photo of the mountains, the water, and the wind was blowing. Oh my God. And this, it was kind of warm, all those, it was just hitting all your senses. Okay. So, and that's what you want, right? Especially when you're at a spa, a resort and spa, especially at Miraval. And then once again, you got your water, and see, there you go. You got your stream, you got your waterfall, and just, oh, man, just wonderful, just spectacular. Anyway, topic for today: post-group commission follow-up. Now, see, you didn't think that there's no way I could tie that in, right? Well, I'm about to tie it in. Just check it out. Just hold on one second. Let me just get my camera back up here. So, okay, so post-group commission follow-up. So how this whole thing came about, this conversation with my client, is that 2 days ago, I received an email from the from my contact at the Intercon in New York. Okay, the group had just been there maybe last week, I think, and I normally give them a couple of weeks before I respond to them, about the commission. Okay. Well, they took it upon themselves to call me, say, hey, we owe you a commission. And these are steps that we need to do, because they wanted to do direct deposit, right? A lot of companies are going to, they may not do it themselves, but they may hire an outside company or whatever to do their commissions. And a lot of times those commissions come to you via money transfer or direct deposit or whatever, right? They don't write checks anymore. Well, there's a couple companies. In fact, I just got one last week or a couple days ago that came via a check, right, in the mail. I'm like, okay, doesn't matter to me, right? But of course, if it comes to direct deposit, of course, that's faster, that's cleaner, and that's great. Okay, I love that too, right? So they wanted to set me up on their direct deposit. But the thing that got me was that they actually called me. They called me, they emailed me, because there's a couple of things I needed to send them, my bank information, so they can do to why can I speak? They wanted me to send them my bank information, so of course they can do the direct deposit. I said, okay, well, I did that, blah, 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 blah. But how many hotels, I guess my question is, how many hotels actually do that? That they're being proactive instead of reactive, meaning that said a lot about the hotel, right? Now, this is the same hotel. Now I'm tying this in. This is the same hotel that my client is over the moon about, right? So there's a correlation there, right? They're following up on commission. They're taking care of my client. Their professionalism, all the things that she mentioned, my client mentioned. I'm now I have to be in agreement. And yeah, I'm in agreement with this, because I'm over the moon too, because not every hotel will reach out to you and let you know that, hey, we're working on your commission. Okay. A lot of times I'm chasing commissions. Okay. Probably 9 out of 10 times I'm chasing. All right. I'm not, they're not calling me. I'm calling them, or I'm emailing them, give me the pickup report so I can, do the invoice and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. I mean, I know I need to do that, but it's just a breath air. I mean, a breath of fresh air. It's just a breath of fresh air. Oh my God. And I haven't been drinking. Okay. I haven't even been drinking today. But yeah, it was great just to see that. So what does that do? So today I talked about something that doesn't always get discussed openly: post-group commission follow-up. Whether you're a hotel, an independent meeting planner, or a site selection professional, this step is part of maintaining a healthy business relationship. And when it's done proactively, it speaks volumes. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. So here are 3 key points about this today. Number 1, it shows professionalism. I already said that, right? But it shows professionalism. When hotels initiate the commission follow-up, it demonstrates organization organization and integrity. It tells planners we value you and we're on top of our process. That level of professionalism sets the tone for future business. I already told them. I already told I told the hotel that I'm looking for other groups that want to go to New York and Manhattan. I'm going to refer them. I mean, because it's just this doesn't happen often. Number two, it strengthens long-term relationships. A quick update after the group departs keeps communication flowing. It builds trust and positions both sides for repeat business. Sometimes the smallest gestures leave the biggest impact. Well, that wasn't a small gesture. That was big because, that's one less thing I have to worry about now, right? I mean, I put things on my calendar to follow up and refollow up and all that kind of stuff, right? Well, now everything's taken care of. I already sent them my information. Now I'm just waiting for the email saying that boom, the money has been deposited in your account. That's all I'm waiting for now, right? They already have the W-9, they have everything, right? So yeah, so this is good. This is good. Number three, it acknowledges the value you bring. Independent planners and site selection pros deliver real revenue. Yeah, real revenue. Imagine that. Proactively addressing commission status recognizes that contribution and validates the daily check-in with Russell of Hotels. Okay, I don't know about all that, but okay, we'll go with that. So so there you go. So no, I thank them for doing that. I really appreciate that. And I always want to make sure that you mention or you give them their flowers now, right? I mean, we always wait until it's too late, but no, I want to give, the Intercon, New York, Manhattan their flowers now. Okay, so because I do appreciate that, and I will definitely continue to talk about it because that's what it's all about, right? It's all about that feeling of hospitality. My client got it, and it's all about the client. It's never about me, right? But now that it's over, I'm getting that feeling of hospitality or feeling of professionalism as well because of how they handle this whole post group commission thing, right? I don't have to follow up. They called me. And I want to give someone else their flowers or another hotel, the Omni in San Diego. They did the same thing. They actually followed up with me after the program was over and said, hey, just check over this, make sure everything is good, and make sure they had my address and my W-9 and whatever. They're just confirming everything. And I think within that same week, I received the check. So shout out to the Omni San Diego. I appreciate that as well. So yeah, I'm cooking with gas this week, right? Or the last 2 weeks. People are paying their commissions right on time. I don't have to follow up. But then again, there's some other hotels that you have to follow up with. Okay. And of course, those won't get mentioned because why would you mention something, the bad stuff, right? No, I'm only going to mention the good stuff because I appreciate them and how professional they are. So that's what it's all about, right? It's all about being professional. It's all about, we all got a job to do, right? Some people will take care of the client. Some people will, plan the meeting. Some people will find the site for them. Everybody needs to get paid. Okay. So, so that's the business part of it. I understand chasing money. I've done it probably, since I've been in business, but it's always good when you see two hotels that have stepped up and you don't have to chase. So a lot of meeting planners would say the same thing. They would say, oh my God, that is great that happened. Because the independent ones, the people that are out there by themselves, like the Russell of Hotels and some of the other ones, they understand it. Okay. They understand that we do everything. We have to do our marketing. We do our own branding. We do our own accounting. We do all this, the art, we do everything. And then we have to chase the money too. Right. So there you go. That's it. So I think that's it. Is that it for today? Maybe so. Okay. But before I go, once again, I'm Russell L. Edmond. My company's called Russell of Hotels, and I'm Russell of Hotels as well. Follow me on IG, YouTube, and LinkedIn, Russell of Hotels or Russell L. Edmond on LinkedIn. That is my real name, just in case you did not know. A lot of people don't even know that. Like, oh, you're Russell of Hotels, right? Well, yeah, Is your last name Hotel? Okay, nah, no, don't be funny. No, it's not. And anytime I do a topic, make sure you check my blog, which is Russell at Russell of Hotels. Just go to the blog, drop down menu, bing, and you'll see that. And let's see what else. Is something else I need to show you as well? Let's see. I'm just making sure that I don't forget anything, because you got to make sure people know everything about you that you can tell them in 30 minutes or so. I'm at 20 minutes now, almost 21 minutes. So I just want to make sure. Let's see. I think that's it. You know what? I think that's it. I think I've given you everything. Does it say Russell? Okay, let me just change that right there. Who I am, once again. And then the daily check-in. Where does it say daily check-in? I should have all these things stacked up together, but I don't. I don't know why I don't, but anyway, I'll just leave it at that. Okay. So anyway, that is it. You guys have a great weekend. It's raining here in LA. It's supposed to rain for the next couple of days, what they said. First they say, oh, it's going to rain, uncontrollably for 5 days, I'm like, okay. Then it goes down to, it's supposed to start raining on whenever yesterday, but then it didn't start raining until last night. Now it's supposed to rain. Initially, it's supposed to rain for 5 days straight. Well, now it's down to, it's going to rain today and maybe half the day tomorrow. I mean, what's going on here? Okay. I don't know, but they still get paid, right? They still get paid to give me wrong information, the weather people, right? Anyway, I don't know why I'm going off on that tangent. Anyway, that's a no win. But anyway, that is it. Thank you guys so much for joining On Air with Russell. Thank you for joining the daily check-in with Russell of Hotels. Remember, I do this every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. On Air with Russell of Hotels, that live hospitality talk show. And I believe it'll be show number 318 will be on Tuesday. Okay, so there you go. Live on LinkedIn, live on YouTube, live on Facebook. That is it. Have a great weekend. We will see you on Monday.